Okay, so we are on the bottom of 15b, last line or two, Test and Bays. And we're in the middle of trying to figure out what the case in our mission is about judging an entire tribe of the Jewish people for doing some Avera. So we first suggested maybe they were Machal Shabbos, they were over on Shabbos, and then we said they really did Avodah Zarah. But then we had a problem. If they did Avodah Zarah, so the only place we found that distinguished between one person versus many people doing the same Avera was something called the Ir Nidachas. If one person does it, they get skila, they get stoned. And if many people do it, so then you get killed by the sword. Now, there were two opinions. What's considered an Ir, a city, to go under the rules of an Ir Nidachas? Either from 10 to 100, or from 100 until most of the tribe. But nobody said that the entire tribe is, if you have an entire tribe doing something, you get judged like individuals, and not judged like Ir Nidachas. So to here, there's a special rule that when the whole tribe does Avodah Zarah, it sounds like they get judged uniquely by 71 people, and not like individuals. So that's what the middle trying to figure out. So now, Amar of Masna, Hacha Benasi Shevet Shechata Askinon. So the first answer, potential answer is, maybe we're talking about not the tribe, but the Nasi Shevet, the leader of the tribe, that did an Aveira. When he does an Aveira, so then he gets judged by a court of 71. Now, why would you say that he's any different than anybody else? Mila Amar of Adabar Ava, we'll see later the same idea, that by a Kohen Gadol it says, Kol Davar Gadol Yavei Dvarav Shel Gadol. Any great matter, any matter from a great person, referring to the Kohen Gadol, meaning any judgment of his has to go in front of a court of 71. So too the head of a tribe should be no different, and that should be brought in front of a court of 71. So Ula Amar Abelazar, no, he doesn't like that answer. He says we're talking about where the tribe, we're trying to give the tribe more land in Israel. The Bainal Iske Nachlos Uketchilaso Shel Eretz Yisrael. There is some dispute over land, and we are giving them, we're trying to apportion them land, and that should get judged the same way when we entered Eretz Yisrael. That was a Bezdin of 71. So too here, we should do the same thing. Okay. So Avkan Shivim Ve'echad. So to here, when we're talking about giving them land, it should also be done in front of a court of 71. Says the Gemara, well, Imatchi, lots of Kalfe Urim Etumim, Vikol Yisrael. In the beginning, we had lots, Urim Etumim, and the whole Jewish people. Avkan, Kalfe Urim Etumim, Vikol Yisrael. You have the same three requirements here like you had originally. So the Gemara says, you're right. Ela mechaverta kidir Rav Masna. It must be that Rav Masna is right, that we're talking about the Nasi of the Shevet, the head of the Shevet, and he gets judged with 71. Ravina Amar La'olam b'Shevet Shehudach. Ravina says, really, we're talking about a Shevet Shehudach. We are talking about, like we originally thought, a tribe that does Avodah Zarah. V'dekakashalach. And you had a question that we never found such a precedent where we distinguish between the punishment of one versus the punishment of many, other than Ir Nidachas. And there we were bothered by that it's only when it's most of the tribe, not the whole tribe. So says in, you're right. But even though they're going to get the same punishment, look at the same punishment of skila, but at the end of the day, there's a special rule. If the entire tribe does Avodah Zarah, they have to go to a court of 71 and not your usual court of 23. Milo Amar of Chama Bar Yossi, Amar of Oshia, the Hotzei says Aishahu, Oasai Shahahi, the Sha'arecha. You're going to take a person out to the Sha'arecha, to the Bezdin. Says the Gemara, Ish ve'isha tamoti l'shacha. A man and a woman, individuals, you take out to the Bezdin. But, I mean, a regular Bezdin of 23, or capital punishment. V'yata motzi kol ha'ir kula l'sharecha, but you don't take the whole city to that bezdin, right? They have an ir nidachas also judged with 71. Hachanami, so to make the same exposition over here. Ish v'isha atamotzi l'sharecha, v'i atamotzi kol hashevet kulo l'sharecha. But you're not going to take the whole tribe out to the regular bezdin. So at the end of the day, when our Mishnah says a shevet, an entire shevet that does something wrong gets judged with 71, it sounds like two answers stand at the end of the day. One is we're talking about the nasi of the shevet, the head of the tribe, and the second answer is a tribe, an entire shevet that did avodah zarah, they get judged specially with 71 people, 71 judges. Okay, a navi sheker, continuing in the Mishnah, a navi sheker also get judged with 71. How do I know? Minani mili. Amr Yossi bar Chanina asya hazada mizakin mamre. We know that a zakin mamre has to argue with a court of 71, and only then is he considered a zakin mamre. So mala holon b'shim ve'echad afkan b'shim ve'echad. Just like there, he has to argue with a court of 71. So to here you'll be judged by a court of 71. Says the Gemara, v'ha hazada ki ksiva b'ktalu d'ksiva. That the zakin mamre rebels against the court of 71. What happens? He gets killed. And he gets killed by a court of Esrim V'Tlata by 23. So therefore, when you learn from the Zakin Mamre, it sounds like that word of Hazada when he rebels is talking, then says, and when he gets killed, he'll be killed. Now killed is going to be a court of 23, not 71. So you can't learn from there to a Navi Sheker that he'll also get killed with a 71. Or else, maybe you should say he gets killed with 23, but we don't say that. Yeah. So says the Gemara, you're right. Ella Amaresh Lakish, like this. We learn davar mahamaraso. We learn the Gzeir Shav, the word davar. The word davar is mentioned by Navi Sheker, and the word davar is mentioned by Zakin Mamre ba'asisa al pi hadavar asher yilucha. You have to make sure that you go according to the matter that they tell you. If you disagree with the matter that the court of 71, any ruling that they issued, if you disagree with that, so then you'll be called a Zakin Mamre. So there, we're not talking about the verse of killing, we're talking about the verse of listening to the Sanhedrin Agadol. And there, it's talking about listening to a court of 71. So too we can learn from there to a Navi Sheker where it says davar will also require 71. By Navi Sheker, it's talking about killing him. So says the Gemara, okay, but now that you have this Gzeira Shava to teach you 71 from Zakin Mamre to Navi Sheker, why don't you go back to Zakin Mamre, V'ligmar Hazada bin Navi Sheker. Go back to that verse of Hazada, and learn from a Navi Sheker that we should kill a Zakin Mamre with 71. So says the Gemara, no. Davar Gamir, Hazada, Lo Gamir. This is one of the places that you see explicitly that to expound a Gzeira Shava, you need to have a Rebbe. You have to have a Masorah to expound such a thing. Because Rashi says a Kal V'chomer you can do on your own. But a Gzeira Shava you can't unless you got it from your Rebbe. Who got it from his Rebbe all the way back to Moshe from Sinai. So this is one of these cases. He says, no, davar I have a tradition for. Hazada I don't have a tradition for, and therefore I'm not forced to expound it. Okay. Kohen Gadol gets judged with 71. Menani mili amar Ravada baravad amarkra kol hadavar hagadol yavi elecha. So Moshe Rabbeinu says, any great matter bring to me. And any small matter, the judges will judge. Okay. Kol hadavar hagadol yavi elecha. The Gemara expounds Dvarav Shel Gadol. It means that, first of all, Moshe was in the place of 71. And he says, the Gemara expounds, Dvarim Shel Gadol. So bring any matter of a great person. So we're learning now that either that means a Nasi or a Kohen Gadol, meaning there's no explicit verse that says a Kohen Gadol get judged with 71, but the verse says any great person, meaning someone of power, that matter should be brought to me. So now, Meisvei, but if you look at the verses, it says, one verse says, Davar Gadol, and another verse says, Davar Kasha. Meisvei, Davar Gadol, Davar Kasha. So now, what are these two verses? One is if you have a great matter, one is if you have a difficult matter. What are these two things? Ata Omer Davar Kasha, Ela Davar Shel Gadol. What's Davar Kasha? Sorry, the word Davar Gadol. Does Davar Gadol mean Davar Kasha? Says the Gemara, that's what we thought it means, a very difficult matter, not a matter of a great person, a very difficult matter. Says the Gemara, Ata Omer Davar Kasha, Einu Ela Davar Shel Gadol. Maybe you said it means a very difficult matter. Maybe it means the matter of a great person. Kishu Omer Es Hadavar HaKasha, another verse that says, any difficult matter you should bring to me. Yaviyun al Moshe. Hare Davar Kasha Omer. So you see that when it says Davar Gadol, use that second verse to shed light on the first verse. And really, the first verse that says Davar Gadol doesn't mean the matters of a great person. Rather, it means the difficult matters. Davar Kasha. Hare Davar Kasha Omer. So says the Gemara, okay, that's an attack on Rav Ada bar Ava. Says the Gemara, Rav Ada bar Ava holds like another Tana. Who the Amar ki ha'i Tana? The Tanya Davar Gadol, Davar Shel Gadol ata Omer. So now, Davar Gadol, this Tana expounds, it means the matters of a great person. Ata Omer Davar Shel Gadol, o Eino Ela Davar Kasha. Maybe it means a difficult matter. How do you know it means matters of a great person? Kishu Omer Hadavar HaKasha, Hare Davar Kasha Omer. Because look, when it says already, it says Davar Kasha, so obviously that verse is needed to teach you difficult matters. Hare Davar Kasha Omer, it already says difficult things. Amani Mekayem Davar Gadol. What do I do with it? Davar Gadol. I expound it to mean Devarav Shel Gadol, the matters of a great person. So I have two verses. One teaches me difficult matters. We'll go to Moshe Rabbeinu, who's in place of 71. And one verse teaches me that the matters of a great person will come to Moshe Rabbeinu, who's in the place of 71. Okay. Now the other Tana that learned Davar Gadol to mean Davar Kasha, the Hayi Tana Trey Kroy Lamali. Why do you need two psukim? You just have one pasuk saying Davar Gadol, one saying Davar Kasha, and you understand that Davar Kasha is just shedding light that Davar Gadol also means Davar Kasha. It's just two verses saying that any difficult matter should be brought to Moshe Rabbeinu. Says the Gemara, what do you need that for? Says the Gemara, Chad letzava be'alma, v'chad le'asiyah. One is the command that anything that's great, the command is should be brought to me. V'chad le'asiyah, and one teaches you that they actually did it. They actually went and they did such a thing. And whenever a difficult thing would come, they would bring it to Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay. Ve'idach, the other Tana who learns Davar Gadol means the words of a great matter, the words of a great person should be brought to me, and the other verse means difficult words should be brought to me. So what does he do? How does he know that there was a commandment and there was that they acted upon it? One second. The idach im kain lichtov. So the other verse, the other Tana learns that the verses should have said im kain lichtov, oh gadol gadol, oh kasha kasha. It should say the same word twice. Either it should say gadol gadol, or it should say kasha kasha. Mai gadol mai kasha shma min atarti. So you learn two things. You learn first of all that it just the verse of mai kasha. The verse of Kasha, difficult matters, sheds light that when it says Gadol, it also means difficult matters. And the fact that it switched and it didn't use the word Kasha twice, it rather used the word Gadol twice, it rather switch and use Gadol and Kasha, teaches you that one was used to command the Jewish people, and one was used to show you that they actually did such a thing. They actually acted upon it. Okay. Now, by Rabbi Elazar, he has a question. A regular ox, Shoro shall Kohen Gadol, Bekama. So, let's say the Kohen Gadol owns an ox. That ox goes and kills somebody. So we know the rule is, the Mishnah says, that the ox gets the same, it gets the same destiny as its owners, meaning it gets judged with the death penalty with 23. What about the ox of a Kohen Gadol? Do we say Lemises Bailim Didei Midaminanle? Do we say that the ox of the Kohen Gadol gets the same judgment as the Kohen Gadol himself, and therefore you're going to need 71 people to judge the Kohen Gadol's ox? Oh, Dilma, it just means Lemises Bailim de Alma Midaminanle. It just means we compare it to a regular owner. And if a regular owner of an ox has 23 people judging him, so therefore all oxen will have 23 people judging the ox, including the ox of the Kohen Gadol. Because says Abaye, Amar Abaye Medikam Abaye Shoro, you're asking about capital punishment cases. Are they judged the same as a regular person or not, a regular ox or not? Michlal de Mamono Pshitale. It sounds like regular money cases. It's obvious to you that it gets judged with 3 people, meaning we're jumping right to the ox of a Kohen Gadol. Does that get 23 or 71? How about a regular monetary suit, regular monetary case? So that sounds like it's obvious to you that that's for sure with 3 people. So says the Gemara, Ma'od Tema Hova Kasa Kol Davar Hagadol. Maybe you'd have thought it said Kol Davar Hagadol, meaning Kol Davar of Shel Gadol. All the matters of a great person should be brought in front of 71. Kamash Malon, Rabbi is teaching you that no, it's only going to be the capital punishment cases, but the regular matters are going to be, like everyone else, go to a court of 3 people. Yeah. Okay. Now, the next part of the Mishnah told us, let's just see the next part of the Mishnah. Yeah. You don't go out to a voluntary battle unless you consult with a Bezdin of 71. So, Ein Motzin, we don't go out to a Milchemes Rishus, an optional battle, not either conquering Israel or where enemies enter into Israel. So, Menahani Mili, how do I know that? Amr Rabbi Abahu, the Amr Kra. We're going to learn from the following verse. Vilifnei Elazar HaKohen Yamod. And in front of Elazar HaKohen, Yamod. And the verse tells us, V'shalo b'mishvan ha'urim l'fnei Hashem, al piv yetzu v'al piv yavo, who? V'chol b'nei Yisrael ito v'chol ha'eda. That's the verse towards the end of Bamidbar. So now, Vilifnei Elazar HaKohen Yamod. Yamod who? Zeh HaMelech. V'chol b'nei Yisrael ito, zeh Meshuach Melchama. So, who should stand in front of Elazar the Kohen? The king, and the special Kohen that's appointed to go out to battle, or to prepare the Jews for battle. The Kol Ha'eda, and Kol Ha'eda is there too. Who's that? Zeh Sanhedrin. That's referring to the Sanhedrin. So you see before battle that the Sanhedrin has to be consulted. Says the Gemara, how do you know that they have to be consulted? Maybe the Dilma Sanhedrin who the Kamri Lahu Rachmana. Maybe the verse is just telling you that any matter which the Sanhedrin doesn't know about, they also have to go and ask the Urim V'Tumim. But not that before war, you have to go and ask the Sanhedrin. Says the Gemara, you're right. From there, I don't see that. Ella, we're going to learn from David HaMelech. Ella ki Adam Rav Acha bar Bizna, Amar Rabbi Shimon Chasida. Kinar haya talu l'malam mitalsa shel David. There was a harp that was hanging on top of David HaMelech's bed. Kevan shehigia chatzos halayla, once, so to speak, midnight came, the middle of the night came. Ruach tzafonis, there was 4 winds. They each are at different parts of the day. The Ruach tzafonis, the northern wind, is there around chatzos time. It's minasheves, it blows the harp. And then the harp would play. So what would happen? It would be like an alarm clock. Miyad haya David omeid ve'osik b'Torah. Right away, David would get up and go learn Torah. Ad sha'ala amud hashachar, until it became the first rays of light until Amud HaShachar. Okay. Kevan she'al Amud HaShachar, once Amud HaShachar came, Nichnasu Chachmei Yisrael Etzlo. All the great Chachamim, they came to David HaMelech, and they said, Amrulo, Adonenu HaMelech, my master, our king, Amcha Yisrael Tzrichen Leparnasa. The Jewish people, they need money. They don't have money. Amar Lahen, so Lechuves Parnasu, that means that go take from one and give to the other, meaning go borrow money and provide for them. Amar Lahen, we don't have enough. Ein Hakom, it's one handful, Masbias Ari. You can't have one handful, is going to supply a lion. The Ein Habor Masbali Michul Yoso. And a pit that's dug out, so you can't just fill it up from its own dirt. Meaning its own, you dug out the dirt, just putting that same dirt back in, it's not going to be enough to fill up the whole pit. Meaning, we don't have enough money. The Jewish people are there in severe poverty. Amar Lahem, I have an idea. Go to battle, conquer a city, take their spoils. Amar Lahem, l'chu pashtu ydeichem bigdud. Go to a gdud. A gdud is a battalion. Meaning, it sounds like go to war. Miyad, what happened afterwards? They went to Yoatzin ba'Achitofel. They went to get advice from Achitofel. V'nimlochin b'Sanhedrin. Then they consulted with the Sanhedrin. And then v'sholem b'Urim v'Tumim. And then they went and they asked the Urim v'Tumim. But what do you see? When it came to war, they had to go consult with the Sanhedrin. They had to get permission from the Sanhedrin. Amar Rav Yosef, Ma'ikra. How do you know that these three things happened? They went to Achitofel and they went to the Sanhedrin and they asked the Urim Tumim, turn the page. Says the verse in Divrei Hayamim, V'yacharei Achitofel, Yehoyada ben Binayahu, Ve'ev Yasar v'sar tzava l'melech Yoav. V'yacharei Achitofel ben Binayahu, v'avitar v'sar tzava l'melech Yoav. Okay, so now Achitofel ze Yoetz. Achitofel was the one they went to advice. V'cheinu Omer, and the verse says, V'atz Achitofel asher yatz v'gomer. Achitofel was the one you go to for advice. U'binayahu ben Yehoyada. So what does that mean? Zu Sanhedrin. This is referring to the Sanhedrin. Okay. And Avyatar, Eilu Urim v'Tumim. And Avyatar is referring to the Urim v'Tumim. Now, meaning Ubenayahu was the head of either the head of the Sanhedrin or was the smartest at the Sanhedrin. So when the verse is referring to him, it's referring to the Sanhedrin at large, and Evyatar is referring to the Urim v'Tumim. How do I know? B'cheinu Omer u'Benayahu ben Yoyada. How do I know that Benayahu ben Yoyada is referring to? He was the representing the Sanhedrin. It says Benayahu ben Yoyada ala Krasi ala Plasi. He was on the Krasi and the Plasi, which is we're going to see in a second. V'lamanik Rishman Krasi Plasi. Why they call it Krasi Plasi? Krasi shekorsin divrein uplasi shem ufloyin masein. They're called Krasi because they say things very, very clearly, right? Cut straight to the point, so to speak. And uplasi, they do it in a wondrous way. But achar kach, and afterwards, sar tzava lemelech Yoav. Then you go to the general of the army, who is Yoav. But before you went there, you see that you have to stop at the Sanhedrin. Amar of Yitzchak, Raider of Adav, Amir Bar of Dumi. Ma'ikra, what's the following pasuk? It says, Ura kvodi, Ura hanevel v'chinor, A'ira shachar. The verse says in Tehillim, Ura kvodi, Uru hanevel v'chinor, A'ira shachar. So literally means that you're asking my honor to wake up. Kvodi, honor, here is referring to his neshama. We have it in numerous places that the word kavod is referring to the neshama. Sounds like that's the ultimate honor in this world is the honor of the neshama. Uru, so he's saying Uru haneu v'chino. He wants his instruments, I think it's his flute, his harp, to wake him up. He wants to wake up the shachar, not the shachar wake him up. He wants to wake him up the morning, meaning he wants to wake up before the morning comes, and not let the morning wake him up. Okay. Now, we cannot add on to a city. You can't add on to a city without going to the Bezdin of 71. How do I know that? The Ein Mosifin ala Ir. Menanim Yili Amar of Simi Barchia Amar Kra. Says the pasuk by the building of the Mishkan. It says, Hashem says, Kichola Asherani Mara Oischa, as tabnis of Mishkan. I'm showing you the form of the Mishkan. You should do. And also then it says, V'chein Tasu L'dorus Habayim. Just like everything I showed you in the Mishkan, you should do, and it should be for generations. So too, just like you, Moshe, are in place of 71, and this is being done, just like you're the one in charge of building the Mishkan. So too for future generations, they should always consult with 71. Sounds like the Gemara is interpreting this to somehow mean even expanding the borders. 1 second. Because the Mishnah said, Ein mosifin ala ir al hazaros. Yeah. If you expand the city or you expand the courtyards, they now have a level of kedusha. I guess that's how it means. Now, when they built the Mishkan, there's also different areas that had levels of kedusha. So just like you're building the Mishkan, so for our purposes, it means when you build the Mishkan, you sort of set the stage in where there's going to be a place that's holy and a place that's mundane. So that should be Ladoros. That should be for all future generations, that if they want to establish places of holiness, so then that's also going to need 71. Okay, so now says the Gemara that has a problem with this. Masiv Rava, Kol HaKelim, all the vessels Sha'asa Moshe used, Mishichasan Mikdashan. How do those vessels acquire sanctity? Because he anointed them. He anointed them probably with oil. Yeah. But Mikan ve'elach, when it came to the base of Mikdash, how do you make the vessels holy? Only avodasan mechan chasan. You actually have to do the avoda with them. The avoda, doing the service of the base of Mikdash, that itself sanctifies the vessel. So what do you see? There's a discrepancy in what Moshe Rabbeinu did with the Mishkan to what was done later on. So va'amai name of v'chein tasu l'doros habayim. What do you mean? It says, and you should do like this, like you did in the Mishkan, for all future generations habayim that are coming after you. So yet we see it's not true. By the vessels of the base of Mikdash, there was a discrepancy. No, there's different. Shiny hasam the amar kra vayimal shchem vayikadish osam osam b'mishicha v'lo l'doros b'mishicha. Special exposition teaches us that when it comes to anointing the vessels, there was a special. Hashem wanted only those to be done with anointing with the oil, but not the future vessels to be anointed with the oil. The Ema, maybe you'll say like this, Osam b'Mashicha u'ledoros. Maybe they should be anointed with oil, and also the future generations should be the same thing. Even the Ema Osam b'Mashicha u'ledoros, even Mashicha iba avoda. Maybe those are done with oil, but the ones for generations that are coming can be either with oil or with service. Amar Papa Amar Kra Asher Yisharsu Bam Bekodesh Hakasov Talon Beshiros. So the verse says in Bamidbar Asher Yisharsu Bam Bekodesh. Okay, it says there Asher Yisharsu Bam Bekodesh. Hakasuf talon be shirus. It sounds like this verse. It's talking about in the future. Asher yisharsu, the vessels you will establish. So they'll be done be shirus. Sounds like with song. I guess we only had song with the Beis Hamikdash. So, okay, so let's just finish for a second. Ella osam. Then what's osam? Ella osam lamali. So now, ilav osam havamina ledoros b'mashicha ubavoda. You would have thought that all future generations could be done either by anointing them or with service that's done. The haksiv v'chein tasu says, and you shall do. I mean, you should do for the future generations. Kasav rachmana osam b'mashicha below ledoros b'mashicha. When it's talking about the future vessels, asher yisharsu, that you will anoint, it says asher yisharsu. So you'll anoint them. Maybe they'll be the same as the ones in the Mishkan. That we have by the Mishkan, it says, vayim shachem vayikadosh osam. Only those are going to be done with Mashicha, but the ones that asher yisharsu bam, that are going to be done in the future, those are going to be different. That's going to involve doing service with them. Okay. Now, we don't establish smaller courts. We can only establish smaller courts with only a 71-person court can establish smaller courts. The Ein Osin Sanhedrin Zechule. Minalon Kedashkan b'Moshe. The Oki Sanhedrin. Sanhedraos. Umoshe b'Makom Shivim v'Chadkai. Moshe established a Sanhedrin. Moshe was in place of 71. Therefore, only 71 can establish other smaller courts. Okay. Taner Rabbanan. A Brisa says, so how do you know that you establish judges for the Jewish people? The very beginning part of Shoftim says, Shoftim v'shoshin titem l'cha b'chol sherecha. So Shoftim titem. You should make judges. Shotrim, one to execute the judgment. How do you know that so to speak, the police officers are the ones that execute the judgment? They enforce it. Shotrim l'so minayin tamalomer shotrim titem. You should make shotrim for yourself. Shoftim lechol shevet v'shevet. You should make judges for each tribe. Minayin tamalomer shoftim lishvatecha. You should make judges for your tribe. Shotrim lechol shevet v'shevet. Minayin tamalomer shotrim lishvatecha. You should make officers for each tribe. Shoftim lechol ir ve'ir. How if they have every city should have judges. Minayin tamalomer shoftim l'sharecha. You should make judges for your gates, meaning the gates to your city, meaning every city should have judges. Should make officers for your cities, for your gates. Gates mean cities. That's how you know that you need officers for all your cities. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yehuda says, Echad memuna al kulan. How do I know that I have one over governing body over everybody? Shenemar titen lecha, in the singular. You should make for yourself that one singular body that's going to overrule everybody else. That is going to be the Sanhedrin Agdola of 71 people. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Omer l'shvatecha v'shaftu mitzvah b'shevet ladun es shifto. He says, it says l'shavtecha v'shaftu. It's a mitzvah b'shevet for each shevet to judge its own shevet. Meaning, and you shouldn't go to another shevet, a bezdin of another shevet. You should have your own shevet. You should have your own shevet to judge itself. But you see that you had this over-governing body judging everybody else. Okay. Now, in Irani Dachas, where most of the city, we had either 10 to 100 or 100 to most of the tribe, commit to Avodah Zarah, they all get killed by the sword, and the city gets destroyed, and you're not allowed to build up that city again. Now, we said that you can't make an Irani Dachas on the border. That's one halacha. Also, you can't make 3 of them. You can make 1 or 2. So let's see. Ein osin irani dachas. Minani mili amar b'chi amar bar Yosef amar b'oshia damar kra v'hotzeisa es ha'ishahu o es ha'isha hahi. So ish v'isha tamoti l'sharecha v'iyat tamoti kol ha'ir kula l'sharecha. So a irani dachas is also judged by 71. So we say that a man and a woman gets brought to, meaning their local gate, meaning their local city's bezdin, But an entire city doesn't get brought to the local city's Bezdin, it rather gets brought to the Bezdin Agadol, to the 71-person Sanhedrin. Ein osin irnei dachas besfar. We don't make irnei dachas on the border. Why not? My taima. It says mikir bacha, from within you, from amongst you, meaning from. It sounds like the carab is always in the middle. So amarachmana below minasfar, and not on the edge. So the verse tells you it has to be in the middle somewhere. It can't be on the border. Okay. Velo shalosh. You can't make 3 ir hanidachas. Dichsiv achas, says the pasuk. Achas. 1 second. The pasuk is in the Varim Yud Gimel, and it says ba'achas harecho. Yeah, in 1. Dichsiv achas. Aval osin achas oshtayim. How do I know that I can make 2? Dichsiv arecha in the plural. So I can make 1 or I can make 2. Now we're gonna have a brisa, talking about this idea. Tana Rabbanon says in the brisa, achas velo shalosh. I can make 1, but I can't make 3. Ata omer achas velo shalosh eno ela achas velo shtayim. Maybe it means 1 and not 2. Because omer arecha, your cities, that the minimal is 2. That's plural. Harei shtayim. So I can make 1, but not 3. 2, I know from the word arecha is in the plural, so I can have 2 irnei dachas. Harei shtayim amor, it says 2. Hamani mekayim achas. What's achas coming to exclude? Achas velo shalosh, 1 and not 3. Now, zimnin amarav bebezdin echad hu de'ein osin, but ha b'shtayim v'shlosha batadinim osin. V'zimnin amarav afilu b'shtayim v'shlosha batadinim la'olam ein osin. So sometimes Rav would say 1 bezdin can't make 3. But if you have multiple batei dinim, they could make. Together you could have more than 3. And sometimes Rav would say, even if you have 2 or 3 batei dinim, so therefore together they can never have more than 3. My time of the Rav, mishum korcha. What's the reason why he wouldn't allow there ever to be more than 3 batei dinim? Because of korcha. Literally korcha is a bald spot. But it means is that you're going to have these empty cities in Eretz Yisrael that you're not allowed to build up. And we don't want that. We want to build up Eretz Yisrael, not leave it fallow and leave it empty. So therefore, we can't have too many of them. So we max it out at 3. You can't do more than 3, even if you have different batei dinim. Sounds like sometimes he wasn't worried about this. That's interesting. I don't know why not. Okay. Amrei Shlakish. Lo shanu ela b'makom echad ela b'shnayim shlosha makomos osin. Reish Lakish says you can't make 3 irnei dachas in one place, but in different places you can make it. You don't want too many empty cities in one area. Rabbi Yochanan Amar ein osin mishum karcha. No, you can never have in different places. Even in different places, you can't have more than 3 irnei dachas. Why? Because we don't want so many cities in Eretz Yisrael just lay there fallow. Tanya Kvasi Rabbi Yochanan, we're going to bring a brisa supporting Rabbi Yochanan, who says that you really should never have more than 3 irnei dachas. Ein osin shalosh ayaros minu dachos b'Eretz Yisrael. You shouldn't make 3 ayaros minu dachos, cities of that get wiped out b'Eretz Yisrael. Aval osin osam shtayim. But you can make 2. For example, you go on achas b'Yehuda, v'achas b'Galil. Aval shtayim b'Yehuda, u'shtayim b'Gal ein osin. You can't make 2 in Yehuda or 2 in Galil. This supports the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan. V'smucha l'sfar, and it's close and close to the border. Afilu achas ein osin. You can't make any irnei dachas that's on the border or close to the border. Why? Ma'itaima shema yishmu nachrim. Maybe the non-Jews will hear about this. V'yachrivu es Eretz Yisrael. Sounds like they're going to hear about that there's an open city to enter into, and that's going to lead to the destruction. It sounds like any border city that's not protected well leads way for the destruction of the whole country. So therefore, you can't destroy a city on the border. You have to keep it built up and populated. Very relevant nowadays. V'tepok, why do you use this thing called korcha, where you can't have cities lie fallow? You have a verse, and the verse says the mikirbacha you can only make one in the middle. Sorry, why do you need to use this logic to teach you that you can't make one on the border? The verse says it can only be in the middle. The mikirbacha amar rachlana v'lo min asfar. It says you're right. This is like the opinion of Rabbi Shimon. He the Darish time of the Kra, famously very famous. Rabbi Shimon is the one who interprets the meaning of the verses, to get to his reasoning. So Rabbi Shimon interprets. So it says mikirbacha, so it means the middle. He is the one who interprets why the middle, and he gives his own explanation that not only his own explanation, but his own explanation which then has halachic ramifications, and he understands that the reason why Hashem said mikirbacha was because if you do it on the border, so then that's going to potentially cause the destruction of Eretz Yisrael.